Mark, buddy, how's it going?
Good, I'm good, mate. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all, mate. Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
What would you been doing on a Friday night if you weren't here?
Probably sitting and eating some food, playing some Xbox, doing some work, masturbating, a few things, mate.
I like it. Well, thanks for cutting off the masturbation, for coming up and talking to me, mate. What's been happening? Anything exciting been going on recently?
I had the British Championships 10 days ago,
Nice.
11 days ago. I won, but it wasn't a good performance. It was pretty poor.
I saw that on
It
your
was pretty
Instagram,
fucking.
mate. You
It
seemed a bit
was
gutted
pretty
about
fucking
it.
poor, mate.
Aye.
I was gutted, mate. Yeah.
What happened?
What I was most gutted about was I went out for a 340 kilo deadlift, which was the biggest deadlift ever done by a junior, like any weight class, any federation, and I locked it out and got the down command, and then it dropped it out my left hand, so I was gutted, mate. Yeah, so it was good to win. That was 3 years in a row. So I'd won my title and defended it twice, so that was good. But I was gutted, mate, because it's not always just about winning. It's about doing what you can do. And I had goals and I just didn't hit them. Apart from that, mate, just the usual, back in training.
Yeah.
Coaching people, and that's.
You were just telling me there that you're pretty busy on the coaching front.
Yeah.
Man. How's that all going?
Yeah, it's brilliant, mate. Things are going really good. Really, really busy. Probably about as busy as I'd want to be within reason. And it takes up a lot of time, but as we kind of spoke about, is when you have the right people, it's very, very rewarding. Like I had a guy, Matty, and he just competed in the World Powerlifting Championships, and did really, really well. And to work with someone like him, that the obstacle that he's had to come through, to get to that point, it's awesome. It's really, really, really good.
Must be an epic feeling.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And he didn't qualify for it this time, but in the future he definitely will qualify for the goals to qualify for the Paralympic, Commonwealth Games, and
Brilliant,
the Paralympic the games as well. So it's really cool to work with people like
Good
that.
times, man. We'll talk more about that in a wee minute, man. So first things first, just basically going back to the start of your training career, man. How did you first start training and get in the gym, basically?
Yeah, good question. So basically, started by I did boxing in my younger years, and I did a lot of football. And when I was 16, growing up, I'd always been fucking so infatuated. Probably wasn't even the word. Just so obsessed with really, really, really strong thing. Animals mostly, like really, really strong animals. And I was always just obsessed with stuff like that. And then when I was 16, I was playing football, and I was running. My studs got caught in the ground, and I turned direction and tore my ACL. And complete full rupture of my ACL, partially tore my PCL, ripped my meniscus cartilage, and then
off of the one.
Yeah, and then I bruised my femur. I bruised my femur, and I bruised my tibia and fibula. So just totally fucked my knee up completely. And had that reconstructed, and they're like, you're going to be a 12 to 18 month recovery. You won't be able to play football again. Well, you won't be able to play football again, but with 12 to 18 months, same with boxing. So I was like, well, I was only 16, you don't, what do you do at 16? Go to school, masturbate, fucking, they don't do a lot. So I was like, I don't want to just that for it to be my life. So I thought, well, I'll go to the gym. And also part of the gym was rehab, doing weights for my knee, for my legs to strengthen the muscle around my knee. And so went and just fell in love with lifting weights, and was just like, this is what I want to do. So, at first I didn't want to compete in bodybuilding, but like I was doing bodybuilding, what I thought was bodybuilding training, because that's what I'd just been given.
Yeah.
I was just obsessed with getting bigger, but without even knowing it, I always gravitated towards lower reps, higher weight, and squat, bench, deadlift, bent over row and overhead press were the ones I really cared about. And then with me being me, I just got really obsessed with it. And started researching online, and I wanted to become a PT, and then I came across a guy called Pete Rubish, who's just nuts, absolutely nuts. But he did powerlifting, and I was like, well, fuck it, I want to fucking do that. I'm going to do that. So I signed myself up for my first powerlifting competition, and competed, and did pretty relatively well. And yeah, the rest is history, mate. Just, you know, became, you know, totally obsessed with it.
So it was literally just that point, as soon as you started lifting heavy, you knew instantly, you're
yeah,
like, fucking, this is it.
Just the first day, literally the first time I went to the gym, mate, when I just, you know, started doing some weights, I was just like, I really enjoyed this.
So the question is, but how good were you at football before you got fucked? I still play, mate. You know, I consider myself a good wee midfielder.
I'd say I tried a lot harder than I was good.
Aye.
I mean, I worked really hard.
So it didn't ruin a career?
No, it didn't. No, it didn't ruin a career. I would say I maybe finished as a very average player with a very above average work rate. Yeah. You know, that's what I would probably say my best was. I'd say I was really good at boxing, actually. Yeah. I would say I was, but I didn't. I always knew it's not what I really wanted to do, and the problem is when I don't want to do something, I find, you know, I find it very, very difficult to do that thing. Yeah. So, you know, I just always, you know, it was always half-assed. I never, you know, went and ran and, you know, did my road work and did my running, or didn't do anything extra. Was never fit enough. Yeah. Never took it really seriously. But I would say that if I was as obsessed with boxing as I was powerlifting, I would say I probably could have took it quite far. Yeah, definitely. But, you know, it just wasn't what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So that was about 17, you said, where you done your first competition?
I did my first competition when I was 18 and a half, yeah.
And you were a PT at that point?
Yes, yeah. I was working with a guy in a studio in Drumchapel, full time. Yeah, so I was really busy in there. Actually, it was really good. Yeah, so well, he was really busy. You know, he was really busy. He did really well for himself, and you know, I helped him out with the people that, you know, with clients and whatnot, and in return, I ended up really busy as well. So yeah, you had a good thing going.
So when you said you injured your knee, am I right in saying, did you have another injury as well, or was it maybe I'm just thinking that all that stuff you said, that was all the one injury? That
was all the one injury, yeah.
And then that was just turned to weights from then on.
Yeah.
How did you go on your first competition?
So it was a push-pull, so basically powerlifting is squat, bench, deadlift. Yep. Then you also have push-pull comps, which are beginner comps, so it's bench and deadlift only. And I can't remember what I bench pressed. I think I bench pressed like maybe 132 and a half, 135, something like that. And I deadlifted, I think I deadlifted 250 and failed 260. Right. I think, but like both of them were British records for the age category. Right. Both of them were British records for the age category, but you know, the federation I did in as well wasn't, you know, the most competitive federation, so I don't know how it would have stacked up in the federation I compete in now. Yeah. But I did pretty good, mate. Yeah, I mean, 18 years old, I think I was like 108 kilos, something like that. You know, with maybe, you know, with no real powerlifting programming, you know, pulled like 260s was quite a good start, I suppose. Definitely. Yeah. And did you know at that point that competing was something that did you just get an instant kind of buzz for it? Did you love your first? Yeah, I mean, I remember after I did my first push-pull, I remember going home. I never said to anybody, I remember going home and I was like, right, you know, and the thing is as well is like, you know, you get tested powerlifting, you get non-tested powerlifting. I didn't know anything about that. I just meant, I remember one of my brother's friends, or one of my brother's work colleagues was basically the one that said to me, you know, go to this federation. You know, looking back, it wasn't a bad move, it just wasn't the most competitive, but I didn't know. You know, so I remember I think I pulled like 260, and I'm watching guys like Pete Rubis who are like pulling like 380, 390, you know, and bear in mind they're like 10 years older than me. And I'm like, well, they're the best in the world, and I'm like, you know, oh fuck it, I'm going to beat them. I did remember going home. I remember researching, and I found, you know, the IPF, which is what I'm competing now, and I looked at all their records, and I was like, well, hold on a minute, their records are way higher than the federation I'm competing now. And then I started researching. I was like, well, that's the federation to be in. And I was like, right, you know, I was like, fuck it. I said, I'm going to be the world champion in that. And I remember, I mean, back then, you know, 18 years old, you know, didn't really have a right to be thinking that, you know. And that's why I always talk about one of the best traits you can have if you want to be successful in whatever you choose to be successful is just delusion. You know, and people think being delusional is a bad thing, which in some cases it definitely is. You know, you can't be delusional about everything, but I think some form of delusion, a delusion and self-belief, I'd say, is a very positive trait. And I just was like, I'm going to be world champion, 100%. I'm going to do it. And I had absolutely no right, but you know, I did it. So
what age are you now? 23?
I just turned 23 a week ago. Yeah.
Just turned, eh?
Aye. So 1st of December I turned 23.
Okay, man.
Yeah.
So when did you first get into IPF and competing in there?
2015.
A couple of years, so you would have been 20.
I was 20. I would have been 20. Would have been 20 when my first competition would have been 20.
So that's the kind of peak of where you want to be. That's the federation you want to be competing in.
I would
for you anyway.
Yeah, I would say as a tested lifter, the IPF is where to be. Definitely, you know, there's definitely competitions now in America. You know, like US Open, Boss of Bosses, Reebok Record Breakers, and then there's a competition in Australia called Big Dogs, and you know, like, you know, Big Dogs, and like first place walks away with like $20,000, you know, dollars. In the US Open, you know, first place walks away with like 40,000. So you know, they're probably the competitions that you'd want to end up in, because you know, in the IPF, it's, you know, you just lose money. You know, you have to pay for everything. You know, like going to Euros, going to Worlds. You know, it's the most competitive federation. It is the most prestigious, but you know, been there, done that, won it. I want to make. It'd be good to make some money from it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Especially when you're so freaking good at it.
Yeah, well, hi.
So for people, anybody who's listening who doesn't really know like what maybe the IPF is, or I mean, you're world, European, and British champion.
And Commonwealth, yeah.
Commonwealth. Okay, so basically for anybody that's listening who maybe isn't thinking, oh, well, I'm not quite sure what that is, or how you managed to do that. Like, basically, just go for it, man. Tell us how you done it. Like, what did you have to do to get those titles, and what you went through, and basically just break it all down for us.
Yeah, so firstly, the IPF is just basically the International Powerlifting Federation. So it's, you know, probably it's probably the longest reigning federation there is. Yeah. And it's, you know, the most competitive drug-free federation in the world. And I, you know, highlight drug-free because, you know, there are probably more competitive federations where people lift a little bit more, but that's, you know, non-tested. Yeah. What did it take to do that? You know, it's hard to pinpoint. I would say it just took, you know, everything. You know, literally from the age of, you know, 18, you know, even 16, it literally is just taken, you know, complete 100% devotion. You know, like, you know, just like, you know, you see a lot of people. Me and TJ were actually speaking about this today. About, you know, people who, you know, just dabble in stuff, and you know, you just dabble in the sport, and you maybe put your foot in, you know, you put your toe in, and you just kind of, you know, feel it out, you know. Whereas, you know, like, you know, it's, you know, in my opinion, if you're going to do something, you do it, and you know, you do it the whole way. You know, you go all in. Like, you know, I mean, it's I'm somebody, you know, you can't just I can't just do something. You know, I can't just kind of like, oh, just kind of, you know, I quite like that, I'll just kind of do it. You know, if I do something, I just need to do it, you know, completely, and you know, be totally and utterly, you know, immersed in it and obsessed with it. You know, I would say, you know, an example of like, you know, of like a day, you know, it's like on a Monday, you know, I'll get up and I'll work, and then, you know, I'll train for, you know, 2.5 3 hours, and then, you know, I'll maybe do a tiny little bit more work, and then I'll go drive to my osteopath, get an osteopath appointment, you know, be with him for an hour, you know, come, you know, drive back to the gym, do an hour and a half training session, go home, do a little bit more work, and then sleep. And in between that, you know, you're never missed a meal, never missed, you know, what, even something as simple as counting water intake, like managing your water intake, you know, never missing water intake, never missing a meal, never missing a session, you know, just eat, sleep and train, and just totally just, and it's all you could, just literally all you do, and just literally, there's not a minute in the day that goes by that, you know, I'm not thinking about it somehow. And I mean, I think that's what it takes. I mean, I think ultimately, you know, I would say there's a very valid, you know, there's a very valid argument when you're doing a sport like powerlifting, where there's, you know, you're not going to get very much fame, you know, for the grand scheme of things. You're not going to make very much to any money direct. You can make it, you know, maybe in avenues branching off it, but you're not going to make that much money. You're not going to really get that much from it. And people would say, you know, you know, to dedicate every ounce of your being and every minute of your day to that is a bit maybe foolish. And I totally understand that and accept that. But I think, you know, ultimately, I think to truly be the best at anything, you've just got to be totally immersed in it and obsessed with it, and it's just got to take up, you know, every ounce of your being and every minute of your day, and you know, that's literally what it's took.
Totally, man. Do you come across a lot of people who think they want to do it but just don't
Yeah.
understand what it takes, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately, you know, I don't think, I think the, you know, the overwhelming majority of the you know, the population, you know, just don't understand what it takes to be truly great at anything.
Yeah.
You know, and like, you know, what I've dedicated my life to is powerlifting, but you know, if you want to be, you know, the most successful businessman in the world, or the most successful, you know, I don't know, in any avenue you'd want to take it, you know, that's what you need to be. I think the common trait is literally just, you know, it literally taking up every ounce of your being and just being totally obsessed with it. And then obviously whatever branch or avenue you want to pursue, then obviously you do the things necessary. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I don't think I'm any more special than people with regards to, you know, genetically. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, you're a genetic freak, or you know, you're this and you're that, and I think it maybe be naive to say I've not got a genetic predisposition to maybe be strong, but I would also say that it's easy for people to say that, but you know, they also just, you know, they don't have what it takes to do it. You know, like to literally, you know, it just needs to, you know, to truly give everything. And the thing is as well is that, you know, you have to do what others aren't, so that you can, that's what it takes, you know, like for me to be the world champion, I'm literally going to have to do stuff that the people, that my competitors aren't doing, you know. So, you know, I'll you know, never skip that meal, never miss that food intake, never miss water intake, never miss a training session, never back down from a single, you know, set or rep, or take it easy, you know. Something as simple as, you know, not going out at weekends because you need to make sure you're getting your sleep, you know. Even on like non-training days, you know, scheduling your day so that in the middle of the day, you know, you can get an hour's nap, so you know, you make sure you get all your work done and whatnot, so you can get a nap. Never missing recovery work, mobility work, you know, forking out a lot of money and on stuff like sports massages and coaches and osteopaths and all that and whatnot. And it's just about doing what other people won't, and so it's easy to be called a genetic freak.
Do you get that a lot though? Do you get people that are like, maybe say to you like, oh, you were born with that, or
yeah,
like, do you get that shit?
Yeah, all the time.
See, I don't fucking agree with that at all, man. Like, I think people that are at the top at any game, it's because of the fucking dedication and the hours they've put in for a fucking whatever age.
I mean, it is. I mean, I think it's, you can never deny that the top of any sportsman who's at the top of his game isn't genetically predisposed to being really, really good at that thing. You can't deny that. But, you know, the best footballer to ever exist might just not have played football, you know. So you've still got to do all the work to still get there. Whether you're a genetic freak or genetically predisposed to being really good at something doesn't mean that you don't still have to do everything it takes to get to where you are, you know. So yeah, you know, I think, do you have a genetic predisposition? I would think you'd be, you know, it would be fair to say yeah, but you know, I think also people as well would probably be alarmed what it actually takes to truly get there, you know. Like I looked at stuff like, you know, how can I maximize what I'm about to do, and it literally comes down to, you know, I was like, right, okay, so, you know, there's kind of, you know, 4 different aspects. I mean, for me, I'd like, you know, nutrition, and I would include hydration with nutrition. So hydration and nutrition, I would say training, I would say sleep, and I would say supplementation, and I would say recovery work, you know. And I literally went through all those 5 things, and I was like, if I can get every single one of those things, and I've literally got a list of everything I've got to do before I can go to bed. So like, on a training day,
all the time,
every day, I was like, have I hit my food intake for today? So have I hit everything? And I'm like, yes. And I'm like, have I hit my water intake for today? I'm like, yeah. If you get your supplement intake, you know, everything that you're meant to have your supplementation wise, I'm like, yeah. You know, have you done both your workouts? you know, have you done your recovery work? You know, have you had your contrast shower or your contrast bath? You know, and have you done the physio exercise that you've been given? And if every single one of those have been ticked, I'm like, cool, it's time to go to bed. On a non-training day, you would swap out the workouts for like an hour's walk. So I would go for an hour's walk. Yeah. I would do the hour's walk, and I would also have I would, in the middle of the day, I'd try and get like an hour's nap. So maybe like 5 o'clock, I would go to bed for an hour, and I'd fall asleep for an hour and get up at 6. And if all those things are ticked off, you know, and then it's like, am I going to be able to get 8 hours of sleep this night? And you're like, yeah. So like that's literally the obsessiveness, you know. Like, it's not just about, oh, I'll go and train really hard. Yeah, totally, you know, man. It's like
it's a fucking life.
Yeah, like it's all those different aspects that you need to maximise. And yeah, that's literally it. And I looked at it and I thought, if I can maximise every single one of those aspects, then I know for a fact the people I'm competing against won't be doing that. Yeah, totally. I just know for a fact, you know. And it's like, you know, like at Worlds last year, you know, I got to stand in the podium. So Worlds 2016, I got to stand in the podium. It was my first ever Worlds. Stood in the podium, became the first junior lifter in Britain to squat 700 pounds raw, which was quite a cool feat. First ever to squat 700 pounds raw, and yeah, and I was like, you know, and I was, you know, even to that point, I still did every one of those things, but I was like, you know, from now till next World, I was like, I can fucking win this, but I need to make sure that I literally, you know. And it's like, you know, the week after Worlds, I went out with 3 of my mates. And that was the first night out I'd had in like 18 months. You know, don't go out weekends, because if I go out, I might not get until fucking 3, half 3. By the time you wind down, it's 5 o'clock. Yeah. You won't be able to get all your sleep in, and all that stuff. So I'm like, you know, I know for a fact over Christmas, my competitors were going out and having fun, yeah, and drinking and having fun with their mates and going to parties and maybe not taking training as seriously, and that's totally okay. Like, I'm not like passing judgment on that person. Like, quite frankly, I'm the weird one, you know what I mean? Like, totally. And it's like, I'm at least, you know, true to myself enough to realise, you know, I'm the odd one out, you know. I don't pass judgment in that, you know. Quite frankly, I would, you know, sometimes I just think, you know what, I'd fucking quite like to actually just fucking be quite fucking normal. I mean, just, you know, just do normal shit. But that, you know, that really, but... well, I think, yeah, you know, I mean, a lot of times I do think that, but then you just need to, you know, you just need to be honest with yourself. That's just not me. Yeah, it's just not me. I know for a fact I wouldn't, you know, that's not what I want to do. But yeah, I mean, I just knew for a fact they weren't doing that. I just knew it, you know. And obviously, you know, before the Worlds was the European Championships, and obviously to win the Worlds I would have had to have won Euros, because, you know, if I can't become European champion, how would I become world champion? So like so Euros was the first thing for me, you know, so I focused on that. And my competition was a guy called Mehmet Kaya, great guy, really nice guy. And I was like, and you know what, quite frankly, I would say he is more genetically gifted lifter than I am, absolutely. I mean, I spanked him at the Euros, you know, no disrespect, but I beat him in every lift. I took the gold medal in the squat, bench, deadlift, and the total, you know, just, you know, I think I beat him by like, you know, 40 odd, 50 odd, I think I beat him by like 50 kilos. And, you know, the funny thing is like the year before, he totaled like 815 kilos, and then the year after he went and totaled like 790. Now he did have a bad day and some things went wrong obviously for him, but like, you know, the way I looked at it is I'm just going to outwork him. Like, I knew for a fact, you know, on Christmas Day he didn't train twice. I did, you know what I mean? Yep. And again, you know, that there's no judgment passed on that, you know. End of the day, like, you know, if I had a client, I would be like, you know, no, just fucking enjoy Christmas, mate. Go and enjoy Christmas. Yep. Let's just do the day after, you know, let's make up somehow, you know, you have a family, go and enjoy Christmas. It's not an issue. You missed training in Christmas, it's not a big deal. It doesn't matter. You're a human being. I don't want you to train in Christmas. Just go and enjoy yourself. You know, don't count your food intake, eat what you want, have fun. But the thing is that ultimately I was like, if I'm willing to do what people aren't, I'll win, and it happened. Yeah, totally. You know what I mean? And you can look at it and go, you've done. Yeah, yeah, and it's refreshing, because it's like, you know, with winning worlds, you know, I became world champion in the most competitive federation, you know, in powerlifting, and it's like, you know, if I can do that, you know, you can do anything. You know what I mean? And it's quite refreshing because, you know, if I can do that, I know for a fact I'll always be okay, because, you know, you never know where you're going to be in life. 10 years I might not do powerlifting anymore. I might want to do something else. I might have a family, you know, all that stuff. But it's refreshing because it's like, you know, if I can truly do that, you can do anything. And I think as well, I think people as a general rule would be really, really alarmed as to what they're actually capable of themselves. I really do. 100%. And I think people almost as a, I don't even know the word to use, as a safety mechanism, they deliberately, or they maybe deliberately or unconsciously, but still deliberately hold themselves back and don't do everything because they are just afraid of what they can actually do. But I think people would just be so alarmed at what they truly are capable of. Of course, man. You know,
people are scared to fail, man.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's like, you know, I think again, like, I mean, actually, I remember saying this to my mum. I remember speaking to my mum about this, and I was like, you know, to literally put, you know, so like, this was, you know, this was my last year as a junior, you know, so juniors is under 23, well, it's technically under 24, so the year you turn 24 is the year you become a senior. So if your birthday's January, right, you would get a whole year as being 23, whereas I turned 20, my birthday's December, so I technically miss out on a whole year as a junior. But you know, I was like, this is my last chance as a junior to win the world championships. I don't have another chance after this. And I was like, you know, I've literally put every single ounce of my whole being, like literally every ounce of my whole being into this. And it's like, I've been totally open and honest with myself, where I'm like, this is the most important thing in the world to me, and this means more to me than anything in the world. And I, you know, I publicly said it, you know, privately said it myself. And, you know, I could have easily failed. Like, literally, the second place, Jackson Spencer, missed his final deadlift. If he pulled that deadlift, he would have won the world championships. So it came down to one lift. Fine margins, man. One lift, literally one lift. I pulled my final deadlift, which put me 847.5. He went to pull 330. Now, bear in mind, me and Jackson, we both squatted 327.5 kilos, so we squatted the same. We both benched 192.5, so we benched the same. So going into deadlifts, we were the exact same, and we were around about the same, you know, same deadlifter strength wise. I pulled 327.5 to total 847.5, and he went 330 to pull 850, and he got it to his knees and then couldn't lock it out. So like, that's how close it came to me, you know, to me accomplishing my dream or not. And you know, if he pulled that, that would have probably been the worst moment of my life. No, you know what I mean? And I would have, you know, I would have failed. You know, that simple as that. I would have failed not only my goal, but, you know, my lifelong dream, and not even, it's more than a dream. You know, to me, winning the worlds was, you know, it was what I felt I was destined to do, and I put every ounce of that. And, you know, to be in the position to fail, that's fucking, you know, that's not a nice place to be in. And I think people deliberately just don't put themselves there. To truly be in a position where you genuinely could, you know, have your heart just totally broken because you didn't do it, and to fail, to fail something of that magnitude, it's not a nice place to be, and most people aren't willing to be there. But actually, you know, the more and more I thought about it, I thought, do you know what, you know, see, even if I didn't lose, even if I didn't win and I lost, I could have lived with myself 100%, because I knew for a fact that I did every single thing I could have done. See, if I hadn't done everything I could have done and I went and lost, then I couldn't have lived with myself. You know, and I think the more I think about that, is actually, you know what, you know, like, again, look at the British, you know, I totally failed. Totally, you know, I know I won the British Championships, and people say, well, you won, but, you know, that's not what it was about. It was about accomplishing the goals that I had, and I didn't accomplish a single goal. Not one goal at the British did I accomplish, apart from winning. But that wasn't a goal, because without sounding arrogant, you know, as long as I got 3 lifts in, I was going to win. You know, that, you know, it wasn't an issue. The goal was, you know, 500 Wilks, 870 total, biggest deadlift ever done by a junior. before Luke Richardson, who was a super heavyweight, who competed. But yeah, and I failed every single one of those goals, totally failed it, and it's like everybody knew what I wanted to do, because I love, I think, and I got this from Conor McGregor, and I don't know if he made this up or not, but it was, if you can see it and truly believe it, and you have the courage to speak it, and you're willing to back it up with what's necessary, it will happen. And I like to live by that. So I like to publicly put out what I want to do into the universe, and as long as I truly believe it and I'm willing to back it up, it will happen. So I do that. So I put it out, and I had a lot of people from the gym there watching me. I had my mum, dad, my family watching me. I had people on the live stream watching me. That were watching it because they had an emotional connection to me, because they knew me personally. And then I had people watching it because they just wanted to tune in and whatnot. And all these people knew, that I failed what I wanted to do. It's not a nice feeling to be, but ultimately, although it's heart wrenching and it's it's heartbreaking and it's terrible, you know what? Fuck it. I can totally live with myself. I know for a fact that I didn't mess up because of a lack of effort.
Yeah.
And it's quite refreshing, and I think that the more people that realise that actually, if you fail, who gives a fuck? Shit happens, fucking shit happens, and ultimately,
it's cheesy in that, but you learn to fail.
Yeah, shit happens, and if it's not from a lack of effort, learn from it. I have quite a few distinct, so like I had. The first competition I did in IPF was the worst competition I'd ever done. It was, just fucking terrible. I was just, didn't do anything I wanted to do. And then I went and had the best competition of my life and won the British Championships. Broke every British record there was. Then, went to the European Championships and had the worst competition of my life. I remember after that, actually being in my hotel room, fucking, actually in tears. I was fucking so gutted. And I got the silver medal overall, which is a shame because, a silver medal at the European Championships is no small feat. But, I hadn't done what I wanted to do, and I totally, fucked up. And, I was worst competition of my life. I then went and had the best competition of my life, the World Championships, first junior to squat 700 pounds, total day 120 kilos, broke all the British records that I could have broke, got stood on the podium, but I didn't win, but I wasn't upset. I was so pleased, and in first place and second place, and the people ahead of me handed my ass to me, like first place beat me by 55, 50, 57 and a half kilos, totally handed my ass to me, but I walked away, really, really happy because ultimately, I'd done what I was capable of. Then I went to the British, won the British, but again, terrible performance, really poor performance. And then that took me to this year where I went then won the Euros, I won the Worlds, and I won the Commonwealth, all 3 in a row. Went 9 for 9 at every single competition. I got 4 gold medals. So I got gold medal in everything at the Euros. I got the silver medal in the squat on bodyweight, so me and Jackson squatted the same, but he won the gold medal in bodyweight on the squat. I got the gold medal in the deadlift, got the gold medal in the total, and then at the Commonwealths I got gold medal in each discipline, gold medal overall, and I actually won best lifter of the whole competition. So like any weight class, any age category, I won best lifter of the whole competition, and each one of those successes, so the first British, my first Worlds, and these 3 competitions, each one of those successes, they all came after the worst competition of my life. And I realised something is that if you look at each competition, things went wrong, and I was like, okay, what went wrong? Why did it go wrong? And I can distinctly remember each and every one. I have a list. I've still got it on my phone. I had a list, and I remember saying to my coach, it was literally after this competition, it was a list of 10 things that I felt I needed to do. And if I'd had the best, if I'd fucking smoked it, I would not. You don't learn anything from that.
Yeah, of course.
Why would you change something if you just fucking smoked it? So actually, each competition where I've done terrible has been a massive blessing in disguise, because ultimately they have allowed me to sit back and look at what's went wrong and change it. And I mean, again, it's like you said, it maybe sounds cheesy, but ultimately, there simply is there is no success without failure. It just doesn't happen, because there's no bigger learning curve than fucking falling flat on your ass. There's just not, you know, in my opinion anyway. So yeah, I remember, you know, the Sunday night I was, you know, just after the competition a few weeks ago, I was so upset. And again, it's, you know, it's looking back, it's annoying because, you know,
it's the same day,
I just won the British Championships, you know, and even though it was a bad competition, I just won the British Championship for 3 years in a row. Yeah. And again, looking back, I'm like, you should enjoy those moments because you never know, it might never happen again. Yeah. Will it happen again? You know, you probably will, yeah, but you know, it might not. And I've ruined a big moment like that because I've been so upset about it. But yeah, I mean, Sunday night was so upset, and then Monday again, you know, was, you know, really upset. But Monday I was like, right, what went? Analysed it. Tuesday was back in the gym, and that, you know, that's me back training full time. And it's like now, you know, it's just a case of, you know, I know what's went wrong. We're working on it. We're going to improve different aspects, and yeah, you know, just use it as fuel and learn from it and get better.
Brilliant,
it's
man.
just as simple as that.
It's epic, mate.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a wee bit. You're talking about like if you fail, but you know you've fucking done everything you can.
Yeah.
Then you can at least say, well, I fucking done everything I can.
Exactly.
Right. So do you hear in around the environment that you're in stuff? Do you hear a lot of excuses?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
Because I think that it's fucking frustrating, man, when you listen to people. Excuses, talking themselves down, whatever it may be. Like,
yeah.
What's your thoughts on, like, well, basically somebody. I
think I get so you know, I see it a lot. So you know, like, I've been with my coach for 144 weeks as of this week, 144 weeks, which is like 2.5 years.
So
you know, he's literally been there. You know, from my first, you know, under him, me and him have won 3 Scottishes together, 3 British Championships, Commonwealth, European, World. So you know, he's actually been there before I'd won anything. Yeah. And every single competition, anything that's ever went wrong, I've never once ever even remotely blamed him in the slightest. And you know, some people I've worked with have had bad date competitions and have absolutely blamed me. No, absolutely blame me. Yeah. And you know, I'm not saying that, you know, there's been times where maybe, you know, I have maybe made some mistakes. You know, absolutely, you know, 100% I have maybe made some mistakes with people's programming, attempt selection, maybe that, you know, their water load and water cut and the rehydration protocols. Absolutely, maybe made some mistakes. But ultimately, the way I always use stuff is that anything I do and anything that goes wrong, it's on me. 100% it's on me. You know, like even in a competition, if I do a lift and I get a red light from my judge and it's, you know, and it's a bad call from the judge, it's still on me. You know, everything's always on me, and that's an attitude that I always like to take, is that anything I do is always on me, whether it's good or bad. And if something goes wrong, it's my fault. It's that simple. It's literally that simple. If something goes wrong and it's my fault, I've just got to take it on the chin. And I think again, the problem is that people aren't willing to be honest with themselves. It's as simple as that. Yep. People don't really tend to be honest with themselves, and the way to deal with things is to pass blame on to others and whatnot, and whatnot. Whereas, you know, and again, I think that it comes down to the fact, you know, that person just isn't cut out. It's just that simple. They just aren't cut out to do what's necessary. You know, prime example. You know, look at like Ronda Rousey, for example. Right, you know, phenomenal athlete. You know, she was. You know, she's the reason women's MMA is what it is. You know, and you know, she's a superstar. But you know, she lost her first fight to Holly Holmes. Is that correct? Yeah. So she lost her first fight to Holly Holmes, and what did she do upon that defeat? She went missing for how long? 1.5 years, right? Didn't want to fight again. Didn't want to get back not to go on. Nothing, right? Then look at Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor lost to Nate Diaz, and what did Conor McGregor do? He got in front of Joe Rogan and spoke to Joe Rogan. First of all, he went to the press conferences, spoke to the press conferences, and he publicly spoke about it. And what did he do? He took full responsibility for everything, you know. And what was the next thing he did? He wanted to fight Nate Diaz as soon as possible. And he didn't change the conditions. He didn't say, oh, I want Nate Diaz a lighter weight. He went, same weight class, same rules, everything, let's keep everything the same. When can I fight him again? And it's like, that's what it takes. That's a true champion. To me, Ronda Rousey, I don't think was a true champion, because as soon as she was faced with adversity, what happened?
She went missing.
She went missing, and she didn't deal with it. You know what I mean? Whereas Conor McGregor was faced with adversity. What did he do? He took full responsibility, gave the utmost respect to Nate Diaz, and I think a lot of people were actually really surprised at what Conor McGregor's actually like in the face of defeat. You know, I think, you know, the way he personifies himself as a persona, I don't think it's truly him. It's the self fights. You know, I think that's what we need to realise. Is he a crazy bastard? Absolutely. But you know, is he as cocky and arrogant as he portrays himself? I don't really think so. I think that's the self fights. But you know, what did he do? He didn't hide, didn't run, took full responsibility, and wanted to fight him as soon as possible. And he came back and he beat Nate Diaz and he won. You know, then he went and became two times champion. You know, was it lightweight and what would one of the belts was lightweight and I think maybe featherweight. I'm not sure, but you know, and it's like, to me, that's like a true champion. And I don't think Ronda Rousey was. Again, Ronda Rousey came back, lost a fight, and what she done? She's, you know, went missing again. Yeah, you know. So in the face of adversity and when things go wrong is when you start to really find out, you know, who's cut out for this and who's not. And it's that simple. And it's the same with life, you know. It's the exact same with life, you know. Everybody goes through really, really bad times, and you know, some people go through, you know, a lot worse than others. But ultimately, you know, there's been many people who have went through fucking, you know, hell and back and have turned out really good and done really well for themselves. And there's people that haven't went through that much and have just sat about and used it as an excuse to do nothing. And, you know, ultimately, who are we to pass judgment in both of them? But, you know, all we know is, you know, we like to think of fucking Candyland and that there's going to be fucking heaven and we're going to all fucking go and get to shag 20 virgins and all whatever people like to believe. But ultimately, all we're actually aware of is that we're on this planet for, you know, 70 to 80 years and we've only got one fucking go at this. And the way I see it is, ultimately, we are very, very insignificant in the grand scheme of things. In 200 years, who will know our names? Nobody. Probably, you know, nobody, you know. In 1,000 years, there won't even be any trace of our existence anymore, you know, not even a trace of our existence. And ultimately, you know, the whole earth itself, in the grand scheme of things of the whole universe, we're really insignificant. So all we know is we only have one go at this, and nobody's going to remember who we are. So if we make massive fuck-ups, who cares? Nobody's going to know in fucking 50 years. So would we really want to spend our only life and our only one fucking go at this miracle, you know, because it is a miracle. I mean, ultimately, me and you're sitting here right now, right? Think of every single thing that's happened to allow for us to sit here right now. Like, literally, you'll have an ancestor from you know, 500 years ago, right? Imagine you knock out one of those ancestors, you wouldn't be here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Nice,
like,
fucking mad.
You know what I mean? Like, literally, you knock out one ancestor, you wouldn't be here. Knock out one of my ancestors, I wouldn't be here. It's genuinely a fucking miracle that we're here, and we also have absolutely no fucking idea why the fuck we're here. We have no clue. We have no clue, you know. Again, we don't actually factually know how we even got here in the first place. You know what I mean? We really, it's just such a miracle. And the way I see it is that we've only got one go at this. So why would you waste it living a life of mediocrity and just using excuses as
fucking brilliant.
You know what? I just don't get it. You know, I just really don't get it. And the thing is, as well, is that, you know, the only things that matter are the only things that we give power to. You know, so like, one person's life might be race car driving, it's all they care about. I couldn't give a fuck about race car driving, but you know, my biggest thing is powerlifting. But the other person, but I don't care about, who cares, it's powerlifting. So all we can decide is what to do, is what we decide to do. And a great quote I like is, all we can decide to do, what's that? All we can decide to do is what to do with the time given us. And it's true. It's like, you know, all we can do is is what we want to do, and that's individual, you know. I'm not saying that you should do X, Y, and Z. You should do whatever you want to do, but you're going to do it, fucking do it, and have a good fucking time, man. If you want to be the fucking best fucking husband in the world and the best father in the world, you know, that's a great thing to do and a very important thing to do, and do it, you know. But I think we've only got one chance to do stuff, and I think what's the point in wasting it by just giving in to things, you know.
Definitely, like, and it's what you said there, it's like, who are we to judge what people do or want? But at the end of the day, like,
you should do something.
How often do you hear people just fucking moaning all the time about everything, or about their own life and stuff? It's like
prime example. So, you know, I'm on social media a lot because, you know, that's where my business is. So I'm on social media a lot, and all I've seen for the past 3 weeks is this Rita Ora and Conor McGregor thing about caption date night, right? Now,
scandal.
Now, if I had a girlfriend, or if you've got a girlfriend, and example, I'm with a girl and she takes a photo of us and she captions it date night, if my girlfriend is fucking raging, that's fair enough, right? That's, you know, that's fair enough. But like, that's because she you know, she has a personal and emotional connection with me, for example, right? Like, why is the whole fucking world getting upset about Rita Ora catching that date night with Conor McGregor? Like, if your life is genuinely so fucking insignificant and you've got nothing going on to the point where you are so upset about that, you need to fucking start reevaluating stuff. You know, do you know what I mean? And I think that people just get so fucking worked up and fed up and interested in you know, like Geordie Shore and all these reality TV programs. And I'm not saying that, you know, when Geordie Shore's on, I watch Geordie Shore. You know, I quite enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I think if people put as much effort into their own life as they do caring about fucking reality TV shows' life, the world would be such a better place. You know, like, again, I just don't get it. I just don't understand why people wouldn't take themselves seriously enough to actually really want to do something really good with their life.
Yeah, totally, man.
Do you know what I mean?
I hear a lot, like, I wish I could do that, I wish I could be this or be that, but I can't because I'm too busy, or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But they can sit and watch every fucking episode of Love Island.
Exactly.
They're too busy, apparently, and
exactly.
It's like, no, you're just choosing that.
Exactly.
It's not that you can, you're fucking choosing that.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that it can be fucking frustrating, but at the same time, it's like, well, you can only fucking try and help people.
If somebody truly wants to do something, you'll always find a way.
Yeah, definitely.
No matter what, you will always find a way to do something. And if you don't want to do something, you'll always be able to find an excuse, you know. And a lot of excuses are totally acceptable, you know. Like, you know, like, again, I was actually talking to you know, one of my best mates, Ryan, in the gym about this other day. And it's like, you know, and I actually got this saying from a guy called Mike Teixeira, and it's called strength doesn't care. So with it being called strength doesn't care, what he was saying was, you know, he ultimately, if you look at no, you're cool, man. Nah, you're cool. Right, cool. So it's called. So what we're talking about was called strength doesn't care, and you know, going back to being willing to do what other people aren't. So example, you know, it's Christmas, going on Christmas night outs, going out with your girlfriend and missing training sessions, going away on holidays and not training for a week, having a child and not getting proper sleep, or, you know, all these different things, you know, or being really you know, you've had a terrible day, you're knackered, the last thing you want to do is go and train the gym for 3 hours, so you just go home and sleep. Yeah. You know, all these things are totally acceptable excuses. And, you know, it's and again, I would never pass judgment on anybody for missing a gym session, because ultimately, you know, so what? You know, so what that they miss a gym session? But, you know, the saying the Mike Teixeira come up with is strength doesn't care. Well, you know, all these are very valid excuses, but at the end of the day, strength doesn't care. If you're not doing that and somebody is, this person will be better than you. These excuses are all very, very valuable, but strength doesn't care. You don't put, if you're not putting in the work, regardless of how good your excuse is, strength doesn't care. You're not going to get the same return, and it's the same in every aspect of life. Ultimately, if you truly want something more than anything, you'll always find a way. You'll always find a way. Like, how many people are so busy, like so busy, but yet they're able to drink 3-4 times a week with their friends? You know what I mean?
See a lot, man.
You know what I mean? What did they sacrifice sleep? You know, to go out drinking. You know, well, why not sacrifice sleep for your business, or why not sacrifice sleep for something else? You know, because again,
or always skint, but still managing to go out.
You know, like again, you know, if you're always exactly, so you know, you'll always find a way if you want to do something. If you don't want to do something, you'll always just find an excuse, and it's just that simple.
Definitely. So you were talking about. I was going to make sure that my mic is still. Aye. So you were talking about it's fucked up how like we are both here right now together.
Yeah.
And the main reason we are is Mr. TJ.
Aye.
So obviously that's how it's came about, because I grew up with him and you are in the gym with the big man. So how did you end up training in that gym basically with all the guys?
Yeah, so I shout out to TJ. TJ's a good guy, but I love TJ. But so I actually just trained in my garage myself. Well, I trained with a guy, a really good mate of mine, one of my best mates, Robbie, but he stopped actually for the kind of the last year of me training. So I just trained in my garage, literally just in my garage. I had a squat rack, I had a power cage, so it's a squat rack. I had a barbell, I had some weights, and then I had a bench press, a flat bench that, you know, that could move. And I basically just squatted at my power rack, benched at my power rack, and deadlifted off some fucking horse stall mats. Right. And that's what I did. And then
you were working in the gym.
Yes, and then also, you know, after I'd left the studio and was just doing my own thing and, you know, coaching people online, I you know, trained up in there right up until so I trained there right up until after my first World Championships. So you know I just training myself in my garage. I trained right up until my first World Championship, and then I was bouncing as well, so I was working for a bouncing company, and one of the guys that worked there, Ronnie Simpson, who, you know, is a physio, and actually I go to for kind of some hypnosis actually, some hypnosis stuff. He helps me a lot, but he you know, it was at a gym called Marinecraft, and Marinecraft is where TJ and Andy and everyone trained. You know, he said, you know, come down to Marinecraft, train with all them, blah blah blah. But you know, I'm a very solitary person. I just like to do stuff myself, my own way. I just, you know, so I was like, nah, I don't want to drag you in my garage. Got this far, blah blah blah, and then and it was like a maybe 35-minute drive, so that was my excuse, you know. But I didn't want to go. I just wanted to train myself in my garage because I enjoyed it. And then, you know, they all left Marinecraft, and Andy opened OBS, and they all moved to OBS. And after Worlds, again, I was like, well, I need to start, you know, doing something different. I've got this far in my garage, you know, and I was driving my parents fucking crazy because, you know, the deadlift and the banging, some cracks started appearing in the walls as well. So, you know, we were thinking the next fucking rainstorm, our house would just start floating down the hill. But so I was like, right, well, you know, I'll tell you what. I said I'm just going to do deadlifts at OBS. So I'll still squat and bench in my garage, and I'll just do deadlifts in OBS. So that's what I did. So I actually just deadlifted, and I always deadlifted during the day or lunchtime during the day. So I never saw TJ, Andy, any of them, because they all train at night. Never saw any of them. And then, but I did enjoy training at the gym. I really enjoyed training at it, even though during the day it was more quiet. None of the boys, and I did enjoy it. And then went to the British, so I was squat benching in my garage and then doing deadlifts at OBS. And then I went to the British, and then again, you know, that was the British where, you know, I won and qualified for the European and Worlds, but I wasn't a good performance. And I thought, well, part of the thing that I needed to change was train the gym full time. That was what I did. So I just started training there full time, and then obviously with training full time, like in my second session, I'd see them at night, and then, you know, I'd, you know, start speaking to them a bit more, and then that's how I basically thingied it. I basically,
you're now in a place where you love it.
Yeah, well, I
love it yourself.
Yeah, mate, I love it, mate. Yeah, I mean, you know, I again, you know, the garage got me to, you know, win my my first 2 Scottishes,
Yeah.
win my first British, got silver medal overall at the Euros, and got to stand in the podium at Worlds. You know, it got me that far, but you know, ultimately, would I have won the Worlds and Euros and Commonwealths and whatnot this year if I hadn't trained at OBS? And I'm conflicted, because on one hand I would have said yeah, I would have just made it happen, but on the other hand I would say no, I don't think so, because it's superior in every way. The equipment's superior, the atmosphere's superior, the camaraderie superior, and although I don't train with them, so they train as a crew, I just train myself.
Right, okay.
You know, so I don't train with them, but I'm training
Amongst them.
I'm training in the gym amongst them, and that rubs off onto you. And honestly, hand on heart, you know, I've been at OBS now for, what's that, you know, year and a half, and training there full time for a year. And honestly, I can't actually think of one single workout where I went there and where it was bad, where I've not enjoyed it and it's been shit. But in my garage myself, I can give off tons where this shit and I didn't enjoy it and whatnot, because ultimately it's like you're in that environment. Even if you're in a workout where you're not feeling that good, you're not feeling that strong, it's still a lot of fun because you're with people.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is as well is that, you know, ultimately again, you know, like me, you know, I mean, I've not been somebody, I've never been, you know, I wouldn't necessarily class myself as a loner. Maybe now, probably now, yeah, I would, but it's probably self-inflicted. But you know, growing up, never necessarily was a loner, but never really fitted in or felt like I fitted in. You know, like I had friends, but I never really felt like I fitted in or felt like I belonged, because I always always felt different. Do you know what I mean? Like I just like wasn't interested in the same stuff people are interested in, never really fitted in with anybody, and never really felt, you know, that close to anybody apart from, you know, two of my best mates that I've been best mates with since I was like, you know, 10 years old. But you know, never really, you know, but again, never really fitted in, never really, you know, didn't really like football very much. You know, I enjoyed playing my, you know, people I train with, but not the same way they did. I never really felt like I fitted in, never really felt like you know, people were on the same page that I was on. But then as soon as you go to OBS and you hang out with people like TJ, Andy, Ryan, Heavy D, you know, Bobby, you know, all of them, you know, don't want to miss out any of them. You know, all these people think the exact same way I think, you know, and so to actually be in a place where, you know, it almost feels like you've came home. Do you know what I mean? Like it almost feels like you've came home, and you know, that's quite a fucking an amazing place to go to. So I mean, honestly, I mean, I can tell you, man, it's just so much better in every way. You know, it really is.
Be good, man, because like the way you were talking about, just like how you dedicated everything to what you were doing and your mindset, and you know, they're all the same. There couldn't have been that many people that you could relate to before you went there, though.
Yeah,
like just in general, people.
And you know, they're all the same. You know, like TJ was a world champion. You know, Andy. You know, I think Andy's a four-time world champion now. I think so. You know, like JP, he's fucking. You know, he was just, you know, the world's master's strongest man, competing against people like Big Z, you know, Junior Savickas, who are fucking legends. You know, you got Heavy D, who's, you know, world champion, world record holder. You know, you got people like Bobby, who's winning, you know, British Masters Championships. You know, and all these people. You know, I don't want to miss out anybody. You know, but there's all these people, and you know, they're all doing the stuff that I'm doing, and it's like, you know, being able to relate to those people, and you know. And you know, actually, you know, create, you know, really, really close bonds with those people. Like, you know, like TJ, Ryan, Andy, all of them. You know, like some of the closest bonds I've ever had with people. You know, so when you're in that environment, you know, even if a day's not going that good, it's still a good day.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's definitely a lot better. Definitely a lot better. And I mean, I guess I'm a very solitary person, and I don't like help from people. So I really don't like help. I don't like. I don't know whether it's a chip on my shoulder or not, but if I like to do something, I like to just do it myself, and you know, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't like help, but then ultimately, you know, again, you know, you've got to have it. You know, you've got, no matter how you've got to. You know, I couldn't do it without my osteopath, my sports massage therapist, or my coach, or without the gym, or without all the boys from the gym, or you know, there's all these people that have helped me, and ultimately, you know. That's why that was the difference between coming second and third place and coming first, is that, you know, having people to rely on and whatnot. And it's fucking OBS is brilliant, mate. Yeah, it's really.
You had funny video for Instagram, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean that singlet video. Mate, that's got like well over 100 million views now.
Crazy, man.
Oh mate, it's fucking.
Jonathan was asking if you were going to be wearing it for the podcast.
Aye, well, I was hoping to bring it, but no. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, you know, people keep asking me to make a return of it. They're like, you know, you need to do it, you need to make another video, but I can't, because how do you top it?
Nah, you can't, man.
You can't.
It's never the same.
It's never going to be the same, and it's going to just feel like, you know, so it's like, the thing is as well, is that it actually, so the way it worked was, me and a boy called Heavy Specs, Ryan, who's just fucking, he's the craziest person I've met in my life. No word of a lie. Yeah, right. He's a European champion, you know, at like 85 kilo bodyweight, squatted 320 raw. You know, just a freak. He is the craziest, weirdest person I've met in my life, but I love him to death, man. I just love the cunt so much, man. Like, just love him so much. He probably won't be listening, but I just generally love him so much. But me and him were going to go as a tag team for Halloween, and it was a tag team, Varuk and Brad and Bradshaw. Aye, that's
who's that again? Legion of Doom or something like that?
Aye,
is it,
yeah. Or is it? Aye, something like that. So we were going to go as that, but the singlets we were going to wear were the ones. So he bought two. So he bought the assless singlet. So we were going to go as that for Halloween. So I turned up to the gym one Monday night, and he went, "Mark, I've got my boot. Come see them." So we went outside. What was that? So that's fucking amazing. This is so good. I was like, gotta try it on. So fucking go into the change room, try it on. So from the front, you just obviously see it, and I walk out and everyone's looking, they're laughing, and then I turn around and they see the assless part thing me, right? So then fucking Andy gets his phone out and they start filming me. So I do a deadlift and I do a squat, and it's fucking funny. 30-second video, really funny, and so we think nothing of it. So you know, this thing is that the shit that happens all the time. Like, that happens all the time. Like, the stuff we do in OBS is fucking, you know, if the amount of stuff that could go so viral from the stuff that we do would be mental. So then Ryan Macqueen put it up on his Facebook. I shared it on my Facebook, and then I put it on my Instagram. So I put it on my Instagram, and didn't really think much of it. And then woke up the next morning and I had like 37,000 views on my Instagram. I was like, what the fuck? And then Powerlifting Motivation put it up on their Facebook and their Instagram, and like other powerlifting pages put it in their Instagram. And then all of a sudden it started going on like Sport Bible, all this shit.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Then fucking Unilad emailed me and were like, can we use it? I was like, yeah, go for it. So they fucking used it. Then Lad Bible emailed me and was like, can I use it? I'm like, yeah. Then I had all these pages like Lad Bible Australia. It went fucking everywhere. And yeah, it's got well over 100 million views. And I mean, it still circulates to this day, mate. It's like,
oh, you see it popping up.
Still circulates, like the Glasgow Housewives that went up on another thing, and I got roasted, mate. I went through comments, people were like, this guy is fucking hideous.
Oh, mate.
People putting like fucking vomiting emojis. Oh, it's amazing. So yeah, I really want to do something with it, but I'm like, I just can't top it. You know, just like, it's like, just retire. You know, yeah, just retire while you're on top. But I mean, the thing is that, you know, that wasn't planned. It was totally off the cuff, and it just wasn't intended, and that's probably why it went so far. And then that's when I got an email from the BBC, and the BBC were like, you know, we saw your video, do you want to come in? And I was like, what the fuck? So my dad was like, fucking go. So I went, and then they did like a kind of short documentary on me. Like, it was only like 5 minutes long.
Was that online?
Yeah. So it was online. So they did that video.
Where can folk check that out, man?
BBC. So if you go to BBC The Social on their YouTube or their Facebook, it's on there. I also shared it on my Facebook. Just add me as a friend, or if you go on my Instagram. No, did I share it? I think I did share my Instagram. You just type in BBC The Social, yeah. Mark Macqueen. You know, it would come up on YouTube. So like there, so it was mental how that came about, but it was, yeah, it's really funny. Yeah, so, I mean, in OBS,
mate, folk will know who you are in 1,000 years' time because of that, mate. I'll still be circulating.
Well, this is the funny thing as well now, is, mate, it's like, you know, I fucking, you know, people don't come up to me anymore like even at powerlifting competitions, people don't come up to me and go, "You're the IPF World Champion." They go, "I saw your singlet video." You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it's ironic and laughable. Yeah, I love that video, mate. It really puts a smile on my face.
Fucking sexual, man.
Yeah.
Right, man. Let's go into. I want to talk. Sorry,
you should see the gay following I've got from it.
Oh really?
Fucking hell, mate. Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I get about. I would say I get about 3 to 5 dick pics a week on Instagram because of it.
Serious, man?
It's quite good, mate. Yeah. I mean,
are you being serious, eh?
I'm not seriously.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Ask TJ. I was in the gym one Friday night and I got a dick pic off a guy on, because I told all the boys and TJ was like, "You're talking shite." All of them had no chance. And then that Friday I was like, "Mate, look, some cunts just sent me a
hard
pic." No, it was soft at a urinal. I know.
Fuck you, man.
I know. So I mean, if I have a slow month and I've not got much going for me, mate, then, you know, I've got my options available.
Totally, man.
You know what I mean? So it's quite good.
Moving on from that to food, I want to know a bit about your diet, mate.
Right, okay.
What's it like?
So,
does it differ from comp prep to normal? What's it?
No. So, well, before the British, I was under 120 kilos weight class. Now I'm moving up to the under 140s. So like now it's very, very similar to what it was. It's just the portion sizes is more, if that makes sense. Yeah. So like past 2 years I've been on like maintenance diet because I've just been holding 123, 124 kilos, and then now I'm on a surplus, so I'm just trying to gain weight to get up to the under 140s. So it's very, very simple. So I keep things really, really simple. So like, you know, have a lot of steak and oats every day, from a company actually called Prepco.
Oh, you get your meal prep, don't you?
Yeah, so Prepco Scotland. Shout out to them. They deliver meals to me, which is really, really good. So like, you know, like chicken and noodles is kind of what I've asked for. They do tons of stuff, but they do like my chicken meals. So I eat like a lot of chicken, you know, noodles, stuff like that. Steak and oats. I always put honey in the oats. Some whey protein, a lot of milk, eggs, you know, orange juice, apples, bananas. Pre-workout I'll have, you know, for caffeine source I'll have like a Rockstar. Yeah. It's got like 160 milligrams of caffeine. It's also got like 70 grams of carbs in it. I'll have about maybe 60-70 grams of carbs worth of sweets. Supplementation wise, I take 3 scoops of whey protein a day. I have 20 grams of BCs a day. I have 10 grams of creatine a day. I have 10 grams of citrulline malate. I have 160 milligrams of caffeine on non-training days, and then on 2-a-day training days I'll have like 320 milligrams of caffeine. On a one time a day training day I'll have 160. And then I have a standard like multivitamin, you know, fish oil, and then I have vitamin D supplementary to that as well. So I mean, honestly, mate, it's just really boring, really simple, you know. And then like now it's all that stuff, but it's in excess and it's in a surplus. Right. And then like 1 meal a day as well, just to kind of get calories up. You know, I'll have, you know, like a much higher calorie thing. So like, for example, I'll maybe have like, you know, a pizza or like some burgers or something like that, something really high calorie that's just going to bump my calories up. Because, you know, I think, you know, again, I'm not a nutrition expert. I don't claim to be a nutrition expert, but I think, you know, the way I like to look at things are, protein sources are very important. You know, like amino acid profiling. Yeah. Protein sources are very important. You know, so you need to be getting protein from really good sources. So the easiest ones is literally, you know, dairy, whey protein, which is still dairy. You know, red meat, and you know, eggs, chicken. Cover all those bases. Need to have a set amount of fibre. So you know, got to have amount of fibre. And you've got to have your micronutrients. So as long as your protein, fibre, micronutrients is sorted, then you're going to have a pretty nutrient dense diet. Totally. And then on top of that, you know, I think if you've got a high calorie diet like I do, you know, throwing in food like pizza and whatnot, I think is a good idea, because you know, because you can only eat so much fucking chicken. You know,
it's all low calorie, man. It's filling as well, mate. You know,
it's very satiating. Exactly.
Fucking yogurts, or sorry, whey protein and fucking noodles and that, man.
Yeah,
it fucking fills you up, mate.
Yeah, so basically since the British, I've decided, I've increased portion sizes slightly. and I've added in one meal. So like I'd have, you know, example, like a pizza, and a pizza usually, you know, the ones I buy are usually like 1,000 calories, and then I'll have a scoop of whey protein and milk with that as well.
Any idea what your daily calorie
so
intake is?
right now, pre-British, my calorie intake was about 3,750, and that was maintaining.
Yep.
And then now my calories are about 4,400 to about 4,600 per day.
It's a lot of food, man.
Yeah, so I mean, it is a lot of food.
Do you struggle?
No.
Easy?
Yeah, I find it quite easy. Nah, I don't struggle. I like food. I like food a lot. I think as well as that, you know, one thing that's, so I can't eat a huge amount in one sitting, which surprises people. But like, so like what I could do is, like, example, like I can't eat a lot in one sitting, but I can put a lot away throughout a whole day.
Oh,
so like example, like, you know, if I have my breakfast, people would be like, that's quite a small breakfast, but like, see, in half an hour I'm hungry again, and I'll be able to eat. So like literally I could go out for dinner, for example, so be out for dinner, and I would have, you know, say 1,000 calorie meal. I'm really, really full. In 45 minutes and 60 minutes, I could have another one of those meals. You know what I mean? But someone, for example, in one sitting could have fucking double what I'm having. You know what I mean? And
totally.
So like, so that's one thing that's good as well, is that I've learned that don't take a little amount of food often.
Yeah.
Now that isn't better for performance. You know, I don't think meal frequency is that, you know, varies that much. You know, there are some studies out there that have supported that, you know, smaller dosages of protein over a longer period of time help keep muscle protein synthesis slightly higher. But again, you know, we're talking like 0.5% higher. Like, no one's going to actually really fucking notice the difference. You know, as long as total protein, total calories, fibre, macronutrients are all equated for, where you get it in 3 meals a day or 8 meals a day, it doesn't.
As long as it's at least 3, you know what I mean?
It just doesn't matter. But I've just found what works best for me is, instead of trying to fill myself up in bigger meals, I just have smaller meals more frequently.
I'm the exact same, mate. I feel like I'm never full sometimes, man. I could just always
eat
all the time, man.
And I think it's well, it's like a novelty, because I've been so strict and having to keep my body weight at like 123 and not being able to go over. Now that I'm in a novelty for, like, I'm actually going up to 140, so it's quite good as well, because, you know, I'm like, well, fuck it, I can go and fucking have what the fuck I want.
Totally, man. It's a good feeling, man.
Yeah, it is.
So you in Nando's that other week. What's your go-to in Nando's, man? What do you get there? I'm always interested in what people eat in Nando's.
Chicken butterfly peri tamer, which is barbecue sauce.
Right. Just the chicken on its own?
Yeah, so butterfly... Sorry?
No burger?
No,
I get the butterfly burger, man.
No, so butterfly chicken on its own, chips and garlic bread, and then I get chicken thighs with it as well, or chicken wings.
So good, mate.
Or chicken wings, aye.
I've never had the chicken wings. I prefer stuff off the bone, but those thighs are...
My favourite...
Don't fill me up, though.
My favourite place to go is probably Five Guys, but it's fucking so expensive.
Yeah, isn't it, mate? Well, I think last time I went to Nando's, mate, I think I spent like 16 quid.
Was it?
I've done it, but
last time I went to Five Guys was about a year ago, and I got a fucking hamburger, large chips, and a drink, and it was like 18 quid.
Oh, fucking hell, it's nuts, isn't it, man?
You know what I mean? And you're just like, you know, it's like they don't even give you chips with your hamburger. You've got to buy everything separately, and it's mate, but it's so nice. It's so nice. Like,
I think I've only had 2 since it opened, but it's just because the money and the calories.
Yeah, so like before the British, a lot of my mates, really good mates who I just know through Team GB and stuff like that, came up from England and we went to Five Guys. I didn't eat anything because it would have put me over my calorie allowance, and I couldn't afford that 3 days out before the comp. Like the boys are underweight or whatever, you know, like one of the boys, I think he had like a double cheeseburger, a drink and a large fries, and it was like 1,900 calories, you know what I mean? Right. And it was like, you know, and it's actually not even that much eating, and it's not even that satiating either.
I think one of the burgers is 900 calories, man, because I track my calories in MyFitnessPal, and when I went, I tracked it, I was like, Jesus. I was like
950 calories, and then he had like 2 large fries, which are like 500 each, and then he had like a Diet Coke with it.
Save the calories in the Coke there, man. Yeah. So you're putting on weight and you're finding that okay?
Yeah, it's good times, mate. It's good.
Well, obviously it must be like when you're a performance. You need to do it.
I mean, that's ultimately to. I mean.
TJ was actually saying that the other week, man, that he's not been thinking his diet right before training. He thinks he's not eating enough before.
He's not been eating enough because it was quite. We were laughing. He was like, you know what? He went.
No carbs.
He went. It's fucking crazy, man. I was like, what is that? I've ate a lot of food today and a lot of carbs, and it's the best change I've had in my life. I was like, that's just so surprising, mate. You actually ate properly and you ate enough food and you had a fucking great session. You know, I was like, that's fucking mental. I was like, I can't believe that happened.
And you get that boy back in the race, man.
Aye. But, well, mate, TJ's a freak, man. TJ literally just has to look at a weight and his trap's just fucking...
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Nuts,
The cunt's fucking... Oh, aye, he's built to lift, mate.
Aye.
He's just built to lift. You know what I mean? Like, he was, what, world champion 3 years ago? Something, I think it was it 3 years ago?
Aye, it was, aye.
Yeah,
I was living with it.
Aye, 3 years ago he became world champion. Aye, he's just built to lift, mate. He really is just built to lift. You know, like, just genuinely just, you know... He just puts on size for fun. You know what I mean? Like, literally every time you see him, he's bigger. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's not eating carbs or anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Good looking boy. Right, man. Doing all right? Hanging in there,
yeah,
mate?
Doing good, mate.
Good, mate. I speak a lot about benefits to mindset, mental health. When I'm trying, we just did podcast, social media, because I believe it's very fucking important, man.
Of course.
It's helped me a lot, man.
Yeah.
Well, I've talked about it a lot in previous podcasts, man, that like training, I don't know basically where I would be if I'd never found training. I genuinely believe that's the thing that got me out of fucking bad place. So I like to talk about that, and you know, like to talk about the benefits of what training can do for somebody's fucking headspace and attitude, mental attitude, and yeah. So just basically, what does training do for you in that sense? I
mean, it's not only so. Training has not only saved my life, but it's given me a life. If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally, man.
You know, I mean, it literally is that. You know, it literally, you know, has saved my life and has given me a life. You know, it's just, you know, it's that big. You know, I think, you know before, you know, so like, you know, as a person, you know, growing up, and you know, there's 2 moments in my life where I can look back and go, you know, I'm really fucking proud of myself. So the first moment was my standard grade results. So I got I did 6 credits and 2 generals, so I got 5 1s, a 2 and 2 3s. Now, so I got the best grades that I could possibly get, bar 1 mark off. So I got a 2 instead of a 1 in one of them. And that was the first time in my life I was actually like, do you know what, fucking hell, I'm not a fucking waste of space, I'm not a fucking loser, I actually can do something, you know. So, you know, I had a lot of developmental problems growing up, a lot of developmental problems. So, like, you know, I didn't learn to, I couldn't speak properly, didn't learn to speak until I was like, you know, 8 or 9 years old, which is, you know, really fucking late. You know, I still remember like being in school, like primary 3 and shit like that, trying to order lunch, and the lunch ladies just fucking, you know, they just don't have a fucking clue. And my dad always does the best impression, and it's funny to look back. It is funny to look back on. My dad does the best impression always, you know, and it has been such a time. But you know, although I laugh about it, you know, it wasn't actually a nice, a nice time. You know, I had a lot of developmental problems. And was just really late developing. You know, again, like, you know, who the fuck doesn't know how to speak at 9 years old, you know? And then, like, you know, even like remember like being upstairs in my room with my dad, and you know, like literally, you know, the most basic arithmetic in the world, I just couldn't do it. You know, like, he'd be sitting there and like he'd have like 4 toys out, and he'd be like, right, here's 2 toys on this side, 2 toys on this side. So we'll count this up. So there's 1, 2, and then there's 1 and 2. Got that? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, right. He said, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 toys. I'm like, yeah. He go, okay, so we take these 2 toys and put them here, and take these 2 toys and put them here, and we add them together, what's that make? And I'd go, 12. I just have no fucking clue. I just couldn't do it. I just could not do it. I just couldn't do it. Yeah. I mean, and you know,
that makes school pretty fucking tough.
Yeah, I just could. I mean, I just couldn't. You know, I was just fucking. You know, I don't want to sit here and say I was thick as fuck, but I was just fucking thick as fuck.
Wait for it.
And yes, a spade's a spade, mate. You know what I mean? You know, couldn't speak. Even and then when I did learn to speak, I had, you know, terrible speech impediments, really bad speech impediments, and I just didn't pick up on stuff. I just did not pick up on stuff in school. And it wasn't because I was sick. I was just, you know, I was just really late. It took me a lot longer. Yeah. but that wasn't really nice times, you know. Like I just remember always feeling just so fucking, you know, just feeling so fucking stupid, and you know, really embarrassed by it, and really frustrated as well, because you know, like again, like I would try and speak to people, and I know what I would want to say, because I could understand English. You know, you at 9 years old, you could speak to me in a full sentence, and I would understand the whole thing, but I couldn't converse it. You know, I couldn't converse it. And I'm just, you know, really frustrated with that. And then, you know, like in primary school and, you know, first few years in academy, you know, just, you know, a terrible child. It was just a terrible child. You know, just getting in a lot of trouble, doing a lot of stuff I shouldn't do. And just being a fucking idiot, you know, just being a fucking idiot. And looking back, it was like a, you know, I didn't try and, you know, I gave up in school. I didn't try in school. I just did not try at all. But the reason I didn't try was because I was like, oh fuck it, I'm stupid, I'm thick, I don't get this, I'm never going to get it. What's the point? What's the point in trying? You know, what's the need for it? Why do it? And that was like, that's what we talked about. That's the safety mechanism. I deliberately made myself fail. Well, I put myself in a position where I couldn't fail because I didn't care, I didn't do anything. Yeah. So I was kind of protecting myself. And I was protecting myself, and that's all it was. I was protecting myself because I'd always felt like a failure. I'd never felt really that good about stuff. You know, I was never really good at anything. You know, I was never really good at anything. I wasn't good in school. Didn't really have that many friends. Wasn't that great with it. And, you know, was not good with women, you know, whatsoever. You know, just was not good with women. By the time I got into secondary school, really late developer. You know, like my voice didn't break till I was like 16, 17 years old. You know, like people's voice break when they're 12. And I was like 16, 17. You know, so wasn't that good at sports, you know, wasn't that good at anything, wasn't that clever, never felt really, you know, really good at anything. And then I remember I was in fourth year, and my RE teacher, Mr. Story, you know, fucking humiliated me in front of the class. You know, fucking humiliated me, and you quite rightly so. I was a fucking wank. I was a proper little dick. And if I was a teacher, I would have fucking smacked me. You know, so I mean, I'm not. You know, but he proper humiliated me, and he was like, you know, you're just a nobody. You're just a total loser. You know, you do nothing. You know, you do nothing. You got nothing going for you. You're going to be a nobody. And, you know, and you're just going to be a loser your whole life. You're going to be, you know, sweeping the streets. And that's his words. I'm not saying, you know, sweeping the streets as being a loser. That's not, you know, I think pride can be taken in every job and should be taken in every job. But that's, you know, his words. Yeah. And he fucking humiliated me. And I remember it just didn't sit right. It just didn't sit right. And I remember going, I was like, do you know what? I was like, fuck it. I was like, fuck him. You know, I was like, fuck that guy. I was like, I'm going to fucking actually, you know what? Fuck that cunt. I'm going to fucking do something. And I wouldn't say I'm unintelligent. I would say I'm an intelligent person, but I definitely would say academically I struggled. I definitely did. I definitely struggled academically. You know, again, I would say it's a combination of not trying, not allowing myself to try, and you know, taking a bit longer to kind of develop and understand stuff. But I was like, you know, fuck him. You know, I was like, I'm going to fucking do really well. So I was doing 6 credits and 2 generals. So the best marks I could have got was 6 1s and 2 3s. And I got 5 1s or 2 and 2 3s. I remember I phoned my dad up when I got my results through. I mean, I worked so hard for that. I worked so hard. I mean, that's just me to a T. I'm not the most gifted person at anything, but fuck me, man. I will fucking outwork that. I will work anybody. I phoned my dad up. I was like, I got my results, and he's like, oh, right, okay, how did they go? Mum and Dad have always been great, really supportive, you know, never put me down, always told me, I can do whatever I want, you know, and I phoned him up, and I was like, I got my results, and I told him what my results were, and he paused, and I remember he paused for like 5 seconds. He claims he didn't, but he did. He paused for so long. Are you there? And he's like, yeah, I'm there. And I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And I know for a fact he was so fucking surprised, like so surprised. And he still says to this day he wasn't, but he was. I mean, I was surprised too. And I remember it was literally, that was, you know, that was the second best. That's the second best day of my life. Best, you know, winning worlds. But you know, I remember I was fucking, you know, jumping about my living room. I was just so fucking pleased. And I remember just sitting going, do you know what? Black, I actually fucking am capable. I can do what I want to do. It was like a light. It was just like a total euphoric moment, and it was just like a life changing moment. I was like, do you know what? You know, you actually can. I actually can do something. You know, I'm not fucking worthless. I'm not fucking useless. I can be good at stuff. Yeah. And it just totally fucking changed my mindset. And then, you know, went and got 5 Bs in my hires. And again, you know, 5 Bs is, you know, maybe not the best, but 5 Bs is, you know, get me into probably most. Well, I got accepted to unis. I got accepted to Edinburgh Uni, Edinburgh Napier, and Glasgow Cali. You know, I turned them all down because it's not what I wanted to do. But, you know, and I just remember thinking, if I can do that, I can truly do anything. And it was like a life-changing. It was a life-changing moment. And then yeah, you know, moved on and, you know, found the weight training, did that. But I mean, without it, I don't really know where I would be or what I'd be doing. You know, yeah. I think I'm somebody who I've always thought. Again, I've always thought, even from a young age, even when, you know, I wasn't doing anything, you know, worthwhile or anything like that. I remember thinking, you know, I'm either going to be something really fucking special, or, you know, I'm going to end up in a lot of fucking trouble, you know, like a lot of trouble. And I just thought always, and there was never an in between. Either I was going to absolutely excel in something, or I was going to be, you know, in jail, a lot of trouble. And, you know, I'm not saying that I would end up in jail, but that was just my thought process. And again, it's just that going back and forth of, you know, just one extreme to the other. Yeah. There's never an in between with me. It's always a total extreme. And yeah, I mean, and it's given me a life. You know, it's given me a life. And to me, you know, it's not that, you know, powerlifting means everything to me, but it's not because it's powerlifting. It could be anything. So I mean, I'm not, you know, so like a lot of powerlifters, all they care about is powerlifting. All they want to talk about is powerlifting. You know, all that matters is powerlifting. You know, I don't care if, you know, you're a great, you know, husband or wife, or you're a great person, or you're a great at your job. You know, if you're not strong, I don't give a fuck. You know, and I think that's just an atrocious attitude. You know, it's like I couldn't care whether someone's the strongest person in the world or they're the weakest. It doesn't bother me. Yeah. Powerlifting to me, it's not that powerlifting means the world to me, which it does, but it's what is powerlifting is to me. It's an avenue. It's an avenue that I can devote myself to, and it's an avenue that I can use for self-development and self-improvement, and it's an avenue that I can control. You know, nobody has an effect on what I do. It's all on me. You know, no teammate can fuck up for me. No teammate can win it for me. It's all on me, and it's an avenue that through me being able to control, I can excel at, and I can kind of show the world and myself and everybody, you know, I'm fucking capable. I'm not fucking worthless. I'm not useless. I'm good at something, and that's what it is to me. And it's not necessarily that it's powerlifting that I love. It's what it, you know, it's what it stands for. It's the fact that I can, through my own, you know, belief and work, I can have an objective point of view of self-improvement. So, you know, more weight was in the bar, I objectively improved. I can also subjectively improve from a, you know, self-development point of view. And it's an avenue that, you know, I can through my own work prove to myself, you know, I'm capable, I'm good at doing this, you know, I'm going to do something special. And I suppose it is probably it definitely is a kind of, you know, a thing where I can fucking stick my fingers up and like, fuck you, you know, I'm not going to be fucking useless, you know. And, you know, like, I still remember, like, you know, before going out for my last deadlift at the European Championships, you know, the last thought in my head was, you know, I'm going to fucking prove you wrong. And it was Mr. Story, you know, and you know, he probably doesn't have a fucking clue who I am, probably doesn't care. And, you know, I don't hate him or dislike him the slightest. It's quite the opposite. You know, if he hadn't said that to me, you know what I mean? And he was right. The thing is he was right. What he said was 100% truthful. But the way he said it and the way he embarrassed me in front of the whole class, it really resonated with me, because everything he said I knew. I just didn't, you know, accept it. So yeah, and that's what it is, and it's a you know, it's a void, you know. Powerlifting is a void, you know. Like, at a competition, when you're under the bar, like, you know, nothing else matters. It's just a total void of absolute nothingness. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a total void of absolute nothingness, and nothing else matters. You know, and I think that nothing can ever replicate that. You know, nothing can replicate that. So that's great, so that's what I like about it. You know, and I think that everybody, and I'm not saying, you know, I think exercise is so important, and everybody in the world should do it. Everybody in the world should do some form of exercise that they love, whether, you know, they go and play tennis or badminton with their pals, 5-a-side football 3-4 times a week, whether they go to the gym, go running, you know, walking, anything. People should do it, because at the end of the day, it does improve your life. It does absolutely improve your life, and you know, it makes you feel better about yourself. And again, it's the exact same thing. It's like, through your own control and your own work, you can see yourself getting better at something. That's a very powerful thing. That's a very, very powerful thing.
Self-belief, man.
Yeah. But I think everybody should have something in their life where they can, you know, it fills that void, you know, where nothing else matters. You know, like when I was going out to the world championship, my last deadlift, I was going for the third deadlift. You know, if I pulled this, I won the world championships. You know, and it's like, you know, nothing matters. Nothing matters, and it's just a total void of nothingness, and you can't replicate that. And it's just fucking, it's awesome.
Aye,
you know, it's just fucking brilliant.
And I'm sure you've had fucking bad days that you go into the gym with the boys and it's fucking brilliant.
Exactly.
And you leave fucking like that, you know what, things aren't so bad.
Exactly. You know, you walk at the gym raging and you leave absolutely buzzing. You know, you leave really in a good mood, and
Aye.
It's awesome. Man. And I mean, the thing is as well is that, you know, like, you know, anybody, I challenge anybody to be in a bad mood and go and have a nice session of exercise, whatever their choice of exercise is, and for them to leave not feeling better than what they went in. I challenge anybody to try and do that.
That's why I start my day every day now by walking 45 minutes into work instead of getting the bus, because I come into work feeling fucking great, because it's fucking walking is exercise, and I've done a bit in the first thing in the morning. Fresh air, podcast, music, whatever it is, I come in feeling great. Whereas if I sit in a fucking bus half asleep, I just come in a different mood. Do you know what I mean? So the bus is late, it's fucking in traffic, you're just fucking raging. Whereas if I'm walking, I feel fucking different, mate. So it's brilliant. Are we person tell me you've got a wee bit of rage in you?
Who said that?
Oh, I can't even tell. Dropping any names, mate. But
that's TJ.
Is this true?
Aye.
Did you feel that comes out when you lift?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I've got a lot of. I always say, you know, I've got.
2 seconds, mate. You've covered your face up.
No.
I see your face in the video.
Right, there we go. There we go. I will hold that. I always say, you know, fucking. Coming with a fucking with a lot of rage in my heart and a big chip on my shoulder is always what I like. Coming with a lot of rage in my heart and a lot of chip on my shoulder. The TJ that said that,
obviously I was looking for some background info on you, mate, and he told me that you're sometimes you got a wee bit of rage in there, you know.
I mean,
you'll have a wee rant and all that.
I would definitely say I would definitely say I've got a lot more anger in me than probably most people do. Aye.
Well, that's good that you lift heavy stuff in, man.
I mean, again, you know, I think to be, you know, top of your game in a sport, and especially a strength sport, I think you've got to have stuff inside you that most people just don't have. You know, I think you've got to be able to call upon stuff that people can't call upon. In order to do it. So I would say a lot of rage in my heart and a big chip on my shoulder is what I always like to go by.
That's it, man. What kind of cool places have you been on your travels competing? So
with powerlifting, out with the UK, I've been to so where was the first year? So the first year was in Estonia. First Worlds was in Texas, which was cool. This year I went to Denmark. For the Euros, I went to Belarus, which is a really weird place for Worlds, and I went to South Africa for the Commonwealths. So I've been about within the UK. British, first British was in Bournemouth, second British was in was in what's it called, Newcastle, and then this British was actually in Glasgow, which was quite cool.
Nice, man.
Yeah, so it was at home.
Whereabouts was it?
It was, well, actually, it was out with Glasgow. It was at the Ravenscraig Sports Facility. It's actually Motherwell.
Aye, right,
Actually Motherwell, but they put it down in as Glasgow in the flyer, but it was Motherwell.
Any funny stories from many times you've been away with the boys?
So nothing that would get us fucking arrested or fucking kicked out the IPF. Yeah, we've got a lot of funny stories. So I still remember, like, you know, it was me, Sean and Luke. Sean and Luke, two of my best mates, and then Scott was Luke's best mate at the time, you know, one of my best mates now. We were all competing the same day. So Sean was 93, I'm 120, Luke was 120 plus. So me and Luke actually both won the European Championships. And you know, Luke's, you know, one of my best mates for sure, man. And you know, me and the four of us the night before the competition, you know, we'd all finish our food, all finish our water, everything was done. We're bored, man. What the fuck do we do? So we got some eggs, and we went out and fucking just started fucking egging our mates' fucking house and all that.
Who was this?
In Denmark.
Oh, right. Fucking.
So we started egging one of our mates, Josh Greenfield's house, just to keep ourselves occupied and whatnot, and fucking. You know, to do that night before the competition, you know, it's, you know, me and Sean stole some goats in Denmark.
Goats?
Some goats, right? Yeah.
How the fuck did you do that?
So we just found some goats and just picked them up. And,
boats?
No, goats, like the animal goat.
The goats?
Aye.
Fuck's sake.
And you know, some other funny stuff happened in Denmark. Belarus. Me and Luke were staying in like a high-rise flats. And I fucking put one of the windows through by mistake in the high-rise flat. Just a lot of funny stories, mate. Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you like going away, or is it more of a
I like going away. I like going away. Yeah. I would say my favourite was the European Championships. With Luke, Sean, and Scott and whatnot. I've never had that. That's the most fun I've ever had away. Belarus was just me and Luke, but because it was a World Championship, you know, just. And because there was only two of us, you know, we didn't really do very much, you know, we just kind of ate and just chilled out and slept.
Do you drink at all? Or
no,
not at all.
I mean, after Worlds, I went out and got drunk.
I was going to say, you must get drunk pretty easy if you never drink.
Well, actually, no, I did alright. I held it quite well. I mean, that was the first time I drank in like 3 years.
Alright, okay.
I just don't drink at all. No, I'm not a big. I don't like it. Don't like it at all. I'm just not. I mean, it just doesn't really do much for me, to be honest.
Nah,
yeah.
Especially if you're trying to be at the top of your game, it's only ever going to fucking cause shit,
innit? I mean, that's it, and it just doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
You know, it just really doesn't. You know,
it'll just be pointless.
Yeah, I mean, actually, you know, drinking actually makes me quieter. You know, when I get drunk, I'm actually more quiet than what I normally would be. So, it just doesn't really do anything for me. Yeah,
okay, exactly why there's no point in doing it, is there? What about your? How did you transition from PT to online coach?
Yeah, so basically, the guy I was working with, you know, I worked with him for, you know, I think I worked for him for the best part of 2 years, maybe slightly over 2 years, something like that. And it was great, you know, he got me started, and you know, gave me, you know, I made a lot of money, you know, during that, you know, relatively to being 18 years old, you know, like, not a lot. I didn't make a lot of money, but at the time, you know, at the time, you know, I was making a really nice income, and it was all because of him, and you know, he helped me a lot. Near the end, you know, we kind of started to have some disagreements and stuff like that, and you know, didn't really see eye to eye, and we just, you know, thought it would be best to part ways, and we did. Which kind of left me a bit kind of scuppered, because it left me with, you know, no clients really. Definitely. You know, I mean, 3 contact me afterwards and said, you know, I don't want to train with him, I want to train with you. So I trained them, and then I just started my online business, mate. Just started posting on Instagram, started posting on YouTube, and posting on social media. And it's just very organically grown into what it is now. Right. Yeah, I mean, I can't pinpoint anything as to what I did to actually make it grow so much. I would say, you know, being persistent on YouTube, putting out good content, going on Instagram, putting out good content, being myself, not taking myself that seriously, you know, being, you know, relatable, you know, and then I would also say probably, you know, my achievements have definitely helped, and then, you know, because I've done well as a coach, you know, I've posted the achievements of people I've done, and then they've obviously seen that and they're like, oh, actually, you know, he's not just a dick, he's actually quite, you know, quite good at coaching, so blah blah and stuff like that. It's just been very organic the way it's grown. Yeah.
Nice, man. And you're working with like more kind of athletes and
so I mean I am, you know, I'm a strength coach. You know, I work with people that, you know, I'm basically, you know, I work with them in the weight room, which, you know, most, you know, almost all PTs do, to be honest, you know. But yes, I mean, the majority of people I work with are, you know, are competitive powerlifters. You know, Matty, you know, he obviously does bench press only, you know, in the, you know, in the World Para Games and stuff like that. Then, you know, got some like rugby players, a few footballers, a tennis player. I had a professional Gaelic footballer as well that I worked with. Don't work with them anymore. And then I've got, you know, just some regular people that don't compete in powerlifting, actually don't compete in anything, but just want to, you know, they want to have structure to what they do in the gym, and they want to get better in the gym. And yes, I mean, mostly athletes, but yeah, I work with people that just want to get better and are motivated to be in the gym and do better about it.
Awesome, man. What about some of the bigger achievements that some of your clients have?
So I was actually thinking about that. So people I've had 3 Scottish champions, a couple of Scottish silver medalists. I've had 3 British champions, 2 British silver medalists. I've had 2 English champions. I've had a German state national champion. I've had a Commonwealth champion. So I had a Commonwealth champion, Shane Flowers. He won the Commonwealth championships. I programmed a guy. So I wasn't actively coaching him, but I was helping him with his programming. He actually won the sub-junior Commonwealth and sub-junior World Championships. So he fucking won sub-junior Worlds, which is basically under 18s. I've had, you know, multiple 800 kilo plus totals, a few 1800 pound plus totals. I've had, you know, Matty compete at the World Para Games, which is fucking massive, you know. Yeah, that's pretty fucking surreal for him to do that. And yeah, just generally just a lot of people that have, you know, just got a lot better.
That's amazing, man. There's a long list of achievements there, man.
They've done well. They've done awesome. You know, I mean, I can't take all the credit for that. You know, they would have done that anyway. I've just streamlined the process a little bit. You know.
What if they went to a shite coach? But
well, that's true. That's fucking true.
There you go. No, but that's great, man. And you're loving what you're doing, and
it's awesome,
loving
mate.
loving the coaching and the sense of helping people and things like that. Is that you got a buzz off that?
Yeah, it's really, really good. Again, you know, it's just, you know, you're working with people that you can relate to and that are motivated, and, you know, to be a part of accomplishing people's goals and dreams and aspirations and whatnot. And it's pretty amazing, you know.
Class, man. I love that. Right, man. Like, what advice would you give to people who are maybe listening to this and thinking, you know, I want to fucking lift weights, man, like, but I'm a wee bit scared, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to start, or I couldn't do that, or it was too much, but I wish I could. Like, what, give us your fucking best, like, what's your advice, man, of motivation, of
go and do it,
getting people out there?
Go and do it. Just, you know, just jump in, you know, head first, you know, just, you know, jump in and then learn how to swim, you know. Doing something's better than doing nothing, you know. Just because you don't know, jump in, go and do it. If you can afford it, get a coach, get a personal trainer. If you can't afford it, ask for advice off people that, you know, in the weight room that fucking look, you know, pretty good, or are doing what you want to do. You know, ultimately, you know, a lot of people would be very, very, you know, if you know, me personally, you know, if people come up and ask me in the gym for some advice and help, you know, you don't get annoyed by that. You quite the opposite, you know. You get quite, it's a compliment, you know. And I think people need to realise that, you know, people aren't judging you. People don't generally really pay much attention to anybody in the gym, really, you know. So you know, you're not going to be in the gym and people are going to be judging you and looking at you and thinking, you know, oh, look at this person and whatnot. You know, that's not going to happen. So, you know, there's no need to be self-conscious. You know, find a gym, join it, and, you know, just start doing what you want to do. You know, if you can afford it, get help. If you can't, ask for it, research it, and just jump in, you know, head first, and then learn how to swim.
And just kind of like believe in yourself.
Yeah, just have a little bit of belief, mate. Yeah.
Almost back to what you were saying earlier about just people very underestimate their capabilities.
I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, whether we like to believe it or not, we control our thoughts. That's fact.
Yep.
We are in control of our thoughts. So, and when you actually are able to realise that and truly believe and come to terms with actually I do control all my thoughts, it's quite a thing, because if you fly off the handle, that's your fault. You know what I mean? If someone cuts in front of you in traffic and you fly off the handle, that's your fault, not theirs. They're not making you fly off the handle.
Yeah.
You could easily just stay calm, you know? We are in control of our thoughts. If we are being really fucking negative, that is our fault. We are controlling those thoughts. It's very, you know, whether you want to believe it or not, you know, just start speaking positive to yourself. Instead of going, I can't do that, just start saying, I can do it. Even if you don't believe it, just say it. You'd be amazed how much you can convince yourself.
Always fucking try.
Yeah, just try it. What have you got to lose? You know what I mean? Are you in shape right now? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, you go to the gym, right? If you go to the gym and you're not, if you go to the gym, what have you got to lose? Because even if you go to the gym and you still don't get in shape, nothing's changed. You're still not in shape. But what if you did get in shape?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
You know, so you've got everything to gain and nothing to lose, because you're not getting anything to lose, because you're not going to be in a worse position than where you were before you started. So you can only gain. You can only get better.
Aye, and you just never know what might fucking come of it, eh?
You just never know.
Might end up being a world champion.
Exactly, mate.
That's true, though.
Exactly. End of the day, when I first started in the gym, I was nothing. Absolutely nothing. You know?
Me as well, mate. I went to the gym to lose a wee bit of weight, and now I'm fucking helping people. You just never know where it's going to take you.
Nobody starts off as a superstar in the weight room. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's just as simple as that.
I love it, man. Okay, almost there, mate. What about your plans for the future? What's coming up? What's your goals going forward?
Just get as strong as possible.
Yeah, just pile on the size. And
yeah,
the numbers.
literally, just, you know, I just, you know, I want to total the most amount of weight that's ever been totaled in the history of powerlifting. You know, that's an outlandish claim, but that's what I want to do.
That's brilliant. That's fucking aiming big, man.
You know, that's what I want to do. I want to have the biggest total ever.
What's your records right now?
So best squats 330 kilos raw. Best bench is 192.5 kilos raw. And best deadlift is 332.5 in comp, 335 in the gym.
Big numbers, mate.
Yeah, aye. So
impressive stuff.
Yeah, and I hold the Scottish record, Scottish junior and open record in the squat, deadlift and total. Scottish junior record in the bench. I hold the British junior record in the squat, British junior record in the deadlift and the total, and then I hold the European record squat.
Superb, man.
Yeah.
Respect.
Aye.
The last bit. Where can people find you? That's what I meant to say.
Yeah,
like just social media and stuff. What's your ats?
So Instagram is at Mark Macqueen 2. Mark Macqueen and Mark Macqueen 1 were both taken. So
gutter.
I know. So at Mark Macqueen 2 on Instagram. Facebook, you know, just type in Mark Macqueen, you know, my private Facebook comes up, but you know, it's not really that private, you know, so welcome.
Do you use that for your powerlifting?
Yeah, to an extent, yeah, you know, so I mean, you know, add me in that. YouTube, just type in my name, Mark Macqueen, and if you just type into Google Mark Macqueen, you know, all my social medias come up anyway. So yeah, that's probably the best way to find me. And my email address is on all my social medias, so that's the best way to find me. Perfect, man. Well, thanks so much, man. No problem. This has been nothing short of epic. I've absolutely loved it, man. And I can't wait for folk to listen to that. Yeah, I think we get a lot from it, mate. Genuinely really inspirational words there, mate. Thanks very much. Thanks for having me. Cheers, my man. Nice one.